2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everyone. It's Friday the 15th of April. Mike in for Jamie. It's Good Friday, and a very happy birthday to Maisie Williams, Sam Fox, Emma Watson, and Seth Rogen. Partygate was pushed out of the headlines on Thursday as Prime Minister Boris Johnson unveiled his new plan to deal with channel-crossing asylum seekers and refugees.
Anyone entering the UK illegally, as well as those who have arrived illegally since January the 1st, may now be relocated to Rwanda. This innovative approach will provide safe and legal routes for asylum while disrupting the business model of the gangs.
The initial pilot scheme will see a focus on single men arriving by boat or lorry who would be given a one-way ticket to Rwanda, where they would have their asylum claim processed and, if successful, be offered long-term settlement in the African country. Home Secretary Priti Patel says the new arrangement is a partnership with Rwanda, a country which has repeatedly been criticised, including by the British government, for its approach to human rights.
It is the biggest overhaul of our immigration system in decades, underpinned by a Nationality and Borders Bill, which will soon become law. This agreement fully complies with all international and national law. And as part of this groundbreaking agreement, the UK is making a substantial investment in the economic development of Rwanda.
Rwanda's Foreign Minister Vincent Biruta is positive about the new partnership and says migrants arriving who don't want to stay will be facilitated to return home to their country of origin.
We believe this partnership with the UK offers a unique and innovative approach that will provide a safe haven and opportunity to those in need.
The Rwanda scheme has attracted widespread criticism from human rights organisations, with the policy described as cruel and nasty. Zoe Gardner from the Joint Council for the Welfare of Immigrants says it's not what the public wants at all.
This policy is despicable. It's an absolute disgrace. The people of this country have shown time and again that we are warm and we are welcoming and we want to help refugees fleeing persecution. The government is completely out of step with the public here.
The Refugee Council has called on the government to create more safe routes for asylum seekers rather than banishing them to Rwanda. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer says the whole scheme is just a ridiculous proposal designed to distract the public.
It's a desperate announcement by a Prime Minister who just wants to distract from his own law-breaking. They're going to cost taxpayers billions of pounds, and they just reflect a Prime Minister who's got no grip, no answers to the questions that need answering.
Russia finally admitted on Thursday evening their flagship vessel, the Moskva, had sunk. They say after a fire on board set off ammunition. The Ukrainian military and Western intelligence say it was due to a Ukrainian missile strike. The former Ukrainian president, Petro Poroshenko, who has been fighting with the Ukrainian army, says it's a significant day in the war, not least because the Russians were using the ship to launch cruise missiles at civilian targets.
This is, I think, the first step for the future deliberation of Crimea. By this missile attack, we saved the lives of many civilian Ukrainians.
Ukraine's current president, Volodymyr Zelensky, spoke to the BBC's Clive Myrie, and he's again called for Germany and Hungary to stop blocking efforts to ban Russian oil and gas sales.
We don't understand how you can make money out of blood, and we need to talk together with these countries on how it's possible for there to be different attitudes to this issue. The oil embargo within the European Union.
The world's richest man and possibly greatest internet troll, Elon Musk, was at it again on Thursday. Having bought a sizable stake in Twitter, he suddenly made an all-cash best and final offer to buy the whole company at a proposed value of over $40 billion. That led to frenzied board meetings and even an all-staff meeting. However, even Elon himself has hinted he doesn't really expect the deal to go through. And tech correspondent for LBC, Will Guyett, told the Smart 7 the whole thing may just be an elaborate wind-up.
I don't think Elon Musk has any intention at all of buying Twitter. This is some sort of joke from the world's richest man. Elon Musk now owns over 9% of Twitter. Elon Musk has a track record of using the internet and his opinion on stuff to build interest and increase values. This is a guy who isn't afraid to use his notoriety to improve his return on investment.
Still to come on the Smart 7, history made in Europe for Leicester, and Gillian Anderson is glad to be logging off Zoom.
Right after this.
Welcome back.
Three British teams played in Europe on Thursday night, and all three made it through to the semi-finals in dramatic fashion. Leicester kicked things off in their Europa Conference League, beating PSV Eindhoven in Holland to reach the last four of a continental competition for the first time in the club's history. It was then on to the Europa League, and there were shocks galore. Rangers recovered from conceding a late goal, which forced their tie against Braga into extra time, but Kemar Rufer scored the winner to send Ibrox wild. And the Scottish champions were joined in the semi-finals by West Ham, who stunned Lyon 3-0 in France to set up a tie against Frankfurt, who also caused an upset by beating Barcelona. Hammers manager David Moyes can't believe the transformation of the club in his 2 years in charge.
We've got a really good group of lads. I'm really lucky. They've been great the time I've been here. And the journey in 2 years, when we were trying to avoid relegation, and now we're talking about sort of getting to a semi-final of a European tournament. So it's fabulous, and we're all going to look forward to it.
John Boyega has literally had a stellar career shooting to fame in Star Wars, and now he's focusing on giving a lift to the next generation. He's teamed up with Converse on a mentoring scheme to help open the door for young black filmmakers. Boyega also had words of praise for the nuanced casting of Bridgerton, and he'd be happy to jump in for Series 3, but warns it's still really, really hard for young diverse talent to break through.
There's constant hurdles, and I think that when you're just looking at the Oscars or a stage like that, you're kind of missing out on a lot of upcoming artists who still are in kind of like the melting pot and haven't got that way in. But I think there's still work to be done in terms of the other aspects of filmmaking, especially behind the scenes, directing, producing, exec producers and developers. I think that's something that we're putting our eye into now.
Gillian Anderson is carving out a successful niche playing powerful political women. Her latest role is Eleanor Roosevelt in the Showtime series The First Lady. She's already won an Emmy and a Golden Globe for portraying Margaret Thatcher in The Crown, but she told Jimmy Kimmel picking up an award on Zoom during the pandemic was a pretty weird experience.
For the Golden Globes, I was actually shooting in Prague and was alone in a hotel room. Really? All dressed up in front of a computer for the entire Golden Globes. But there was a technician who was there in the room with me, watching me make my acceptance speech, and then at one point he snuck a picture. At one point I was like, who the hell is this guy?
How very strange. This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day. Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.